Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. When are we going to do something? There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week.
Since this interview, that number has gone from 14 to 19, making it 21 total killed in the tragic Texas shooting. And I get why Steve Kerr is emotional. I see his point of view, and I don't think it's a bad idea. But I also want to provide you with a different perspective that Marcellus Wiley had today on Speak for Yourself. I'll shut up now. Roll the clip.
Once I hear about any gun tragedy, it hits home for me as well. As you know, I grew up, unfortunately, around a lot of gun violence. As I sit here, 47 years surviving all of those gun violent incidents, I'm also a guy who understands this from a different perspective. I don't want to say unique, I just say it's different. We all need to recognize our emotional outrage. We're all disgusted at this. However, once you're out of that emotional state and emotional content, where does the road to a solution start? Now, that's why I think I have a different perspective. I'm a gun owner. I'll give my gun back yesterday if you gave me the promise that these situations will go away. However, when you talk about a community, when you talk about us as a collective, and that's the beautiful part, we're all trying to subscribe to something that is peaceful and loving for us all. But remember, all of us are not subscribing to that. I grew up around people that took lives. I've been shot at 2 or 3 different times, bullets. I don't think I was a directed target, which made it feel even worse. How random it was. 2, 3 different days of my life. And I sit here as I sat there then, and I never looked at the gun as the issue. I never looked at the bullet as the issue. I looked at the people who didn't want to hold up that collective fiber in terms of peace and love, as those are the people we need to talk to and address. What I'm feeling emotionally is trying to reach what I'm knowing logically, which is the solution is nearly impossible. Here's an example to bring it home. In our country, more people die from heart issues, right? High blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks, and car accidents and car vehicle deaths than guns. However, you don't blame the salt, you don't blame the cars. And I'm not up here trying to promote our Second Amendment. I'm not up here saying any of that. I'm saying we're not fully directing our energy at what the real issue is. Like when you're born, we want to say that we're pure, but if you ever been around a 1 or 2 year old, they kick, they scratch, they bite. You know what you have to do? You have to properly cultivate, lead them by example, lead them through experience so that they won't become deviant. I know this from kids. I got kids. If you take your hands off the steering wheel with kids, the car's out of control. And what's happening in our country right now as a collective is that with the haves and have-nots, there are people being left behind. There are people who are not being spoken to, so they're speaking through their actions in deviant ways. And I'm tired of having this be a trigger for me to even think about that solution when I know the best way to address this problem is already around us.
Marcellus has always been a huge advocate for preventing gun violence. Like he said, he grew up with it. He even won an award for it. He always preaches about mental health, community, and family to help prevent these tragedies from happening rather than blaming the guns. So there you have it, 2 different perspectives on the same tragedy. Thank you for watching.